Question 1. During project execution, a project manager discovers that a previously identified risk has occurred, and its impact is more severe than anticipated. The risk response plan proved ineffective. What should the project manager do first? A. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor for a decision. B. Update the risk register and lessons learned register. C. Implement the predefined contingency plan. D. Reevaluate the project baseline and formally request a change. Answer: C. Implement the predefined contingency plan. When a risk occurs and its primary response proves ineffective or its impact is greater than expected, the project manager should first turn to the predefined contingency plan or fallback plan. A contingency plan is a specific course of action developed in advance to be used if the primary risk response is unsuccessful or if a secondary risk arises. This is the immediate next step to mitigate the impact of the actualized risk, ensuring the project can continue moving forward with minimal disruption. For instance, if a primary supplier fails, the contingency might involve activating a backup supplier agreement. Always prioritize acting on established plans before escalating or requesting changes, as this demonstrates proactive risk management. Question 2. A project team is struggling with frequent changes in requirements, leading to rework and missed deadlines. The project manager needs to select a development approach. Which approach is best suited for environments with high uncertainty and evolving requirements? A. Predictive life cycle. B. Iterative life cycle. C. Waterfall life cycle. D. Hybrid life cycle with a strong predictive component. Answer: B. Iterative life cycle. An iterative life cycle is ideal for projects with evolving requirements and high uncertainty because it allows for requirements to be progressively elaborated throughout the project. Instead of trying to define everything up front, work is done in small cycles, delivering incremental components, which provides frequent opportunities for feedback and adaptation. This approach contrasts with predictive methods like waterfall, where requirements are fixed early, making changes costly and disruptive. For example, building a new software application where user needs are not fully known at the start would benefit from an iterative approach, allowing features to be refined over several cycles. Embrace iterative approaches when flexibility and adaptability are paramount. Question 3. In an agile project, the product owner approaches the development team during a sprint and asks them to add a new, high-priority feature that was not part of the current sprint backlog. What should the team's response be? A. Add the feature immediately, as its high priority. B. Decline the request, as the sprint backlog is immutable. C. Ask the product owner to discuss it during the next daily stand-up. D. Inform the product owner that it can be considered for a future sprint. Answer: D. Inform the product owner that it can be considered for a future sprint. In agile methodologies like Scrum, the sprint backlog is considered stable once the sprint has started to protect the team's focus and commitment. Adding new items mid-sprint can disrupt the team's flow, jeopardize sprint goals, and reduce predictability. The correct approach is for the product owner to add the new high-priority feature to the product backlog, where it can be prioritized and considered for inclusion in a future sprint during the next sprint planning meeting. This ensures that changes are managed systematically and do not derail the current sprint's objectives. Always protect the integrity of the sprint backlog once a sprint begins. Question 4. A project manager is conducting stakeholder analysis and needs to classify stakeholders based on their interest in the project and their power to influence it. Which tool or technique is most appropriate for this purpose? A. RACI chart. B. Stakeholder engagement matrix. C. Power/interest grid. D. Communications management plan. Answer: C. Power/interest grid. The Power/interest grid is a highly effective tool for analyzing stakeholders by categorizing them according to their level of authority or power and their level of concern or interest in the project's outcomes. This classification helps the project manager determine the most appropriate engagement strategies for each stakeholder group, ensuring that high-power, high-interest stakeholders are managed closely, while others might require less intensive engagement. For instance, a project sponsor typically falls into the high-power, high-interest quadrant, requiring frequent and detailed communication. Using this grid helps prioritize efforts and tailor communication to maximize stakeholder support. Question 5. A project manager is leading a global project with team members distributed across different time zones and cultures. What is the most important factor to consider for effective communication within this team? A. Ensuring all communication is formal and documented. B. Using a single, preferred communication channel for all interactions. C. Establishing clear communication protocols and leveraging technology appropriately. D. Limiting communication to critical updates only to avoid overload. Answer: C. Establishing clear communication protocols and leveraging technology appropriately. For a geographically dispersed team, effective communication is paramount and requires more than just informal chats. Establishing clear communication protocols, such as agreed-upon response times, meeting schedules, and escalation paths, helps manage expectations and ensures information flows smoothly. Simultaneously, leveraging appropriate technology like video conferencing, collaborative platforms, and instant messaging bridges the distance gap and supports diverse communication needs. For example, using a shared online whiteboard can facilitate brainstorming sessions despite team members being in different locations. Always proactively define how and when communication will occur to foster team cohesion and clarity in remote settings. Question 6. A project manager is calculating the estimated cost of completing the remaining work on a project. The project has experienced several unexpected expenses, and the current estimate at completion, EAC, formula being used assumes that future work will be performed at the budgeted rate. Which EAC formula is being used? A. EAC equals AC plus ETC. B. EAC equals BAC/CPI. C. EAC equals AC plus BAC EV/CPI. D. EAC equals AC plus BAC EV/CPI*SPI. Answer: A. EAC equals AC plus ETC. The formula EAC equals AC plus ETC, estimate at completion equals actual cost plus estimate to complete, is used when the project manager assumes that all future work will be performed at the original budgeted rate, meaning the current variances are viewed as atypical. In this scenario, the estimate to complete, ETC, reflects the remaining budget without adjusting for past performance inefficiencies. This approach implies a belief that past cost variances will not impact the efficiency of future work. For example, if a one-time unexpected equipment failure caused an expense, but all future work is expected to proceed as planned, this formula would be appropriate. Remember this formula when past performance is not expected to influence future cost efficiency. Question 7. A project manager is facing significant scope creep on a project. New requirements are frequently being added by stakeholders without formal review or approval. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take to manage this situation? A. Immediately reject all new requirements. B. Formally implement an integrated change control process. C. Communicate directly with the team to prioritize only the original scope. D. Re-baseline the project plan to incorporate all new requests. Answer: B. Formally implement an integrated change control process. Scope creep, where new features or requirements are added without proper management, is a common project challenge that can severely impact schedule and budget. The most effective way to combat this is by formally implementing an integrated change control process, which provides a structured way to review, approve, and incorporate any changes to the project baseline. This ensures that every proposed change is evaluated for its impact on scope, schedule, cost, and quality before being approved or rejected. For instance, requiring all change requests to go through a change control board ensures accountability and prevents unauthorized additions. Always establish a robust change control system to maintain project discipline. Question 8. What is the primary purpose of a daily Scrum meeting in an agile Scrum project? A. To report progress to the project manager. B. To discuss problems and find solutions. C. To synchronize activities and plan for the next 24 hours. D. To review the sprint backlog and assign new tasks. Answer: C. To synchronize activities and plan for the next 24 hours. The daily Scrum, or daily stand-up, is a short, time-boxed meeting in Scrum, typically 15 minutes, for the development team to synchronize their activities and plan for the upcoming 24 hours. Each team member briefly shares what they did yesterday that helped the sprint goal, what they will do today to help the sprint goal, and any impediments preventing them from accomplishing their work. This fosters transparency, identifies roadblocks early, and helps the team self-organize towards the sprint goal, not to report to a manager. For example, a developer might mention they completed a specific module and will now work on integrating it. Remember, the daily Scrum is for the team, by the team, to ensure collective progress. Question 9. A project manager is determining the sequence of project activities. Some activities can only start after a previous activity is fully completed. This is an example of what type of dependency? A. Discretionary dependency. B. External dependency. C. Mandatory dependency. D. Logical dependency. Answer: C. Mandatory dependency. A mandatory dependency, also known as hard logic, is one that is legally or contractually required, or inherent in the nature of the work. For example, you cannot test a software module until it has been coded, or you cannot pour concrete until the foundation forms are built. These dependencies are fundamental to the project's physical or contractual constraints and cannot typically be changed. This contrasts with discretionary dependencies, which are chosen based on best practices or preferences. Always identify mandatory dependencies first, as they form the unbreakable backbone of your project schedule. Question 10. Which document formally authorizes the existence of a project and gives the project manager the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities? A. Project Management Plan. B. Business Case. C. Project Charter. D. Scope Statement. Answer: C. Project Charter. The project charter is a foundational document that formally authorizes a project and serves as the official link between the project and the strategic objectives of the performing organization. It empowers the project manager with the authority to utilize organizational resources for project activities, which is crucial for initiating any project. This document typically outlines the project's purpose, high-level requirements, objectives, stakeholders, and overall budget. For example, a project charter for a new product launch would grant the project manager the authority to form a team and begin planning. Consider the project charter as the project's birth certificate and the project manager's mandate. Question 11. A project team is highly experienced and self-organizing. The project manager wants to adopt a leadership style that supports the team's autonomy and focuses on removing impediments. Which leadership style is most appropriate? A. Autocratic. B. Laissez-faire. C. Servant leadership. D. Transactional. Answer: C. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is a contemporary leadership style particularly effective in agile and highly autonomous team environments, where the leader focuses on serving the needs of the team members rather than controlling them. A servant leader prioritizes empowering the team, fostering their growth, and removing any impediments that hinder their progress, thereby enabling the team to achieve its full potential and deliver project value. For example, a servant leader might ensure the team has the necessary tools and training, and then step back to allow them to self-organize. Remember, servant leadership builds trust and creates an environment where teams can thrive independently. Question 12. During project monitoring, the project manager notices a significant deviation between the planned and actual costs, and the variance is unfavorable. What is the most likely cause of a negative cost performance index, CPI, less than 1.0? A. Work is being completed faster than planned. B. Project activities are being performed under budget. C. Actual cost is exceeding the earned value. D. Earned value is exceeding the actual cost. Answer: C. Actual cost is exceeding the earned value. A cost performance index, CPI, less than 1.0 indicates that the project is over budget. This occurs when the actual cost of the work performed, actual cost, AC, is greater than the value of the work earned value, EV. In simpler terms, you are spending more money than the value of the work you have completed. For example, if you spent $100 to complete work that was only planned to cost $80, your CPI would be 0.8. Always remember that a CPI below 1 means cost inefficiency. Question 13. A project team is developing a new software application using an agile approach. After several sprints, the team notices that the velocity is consistently decreasing. What should the project manager or Scrum Master investigate first? A. Whether team members are working overtime. B. The level of technical debt accumulating in the project. C. If the sprint length needs to be increased. D. If the product owner is changing requirements too frequently. Answer: B. The level of technical debt accumulating in the project. Technical debt, which refers to the implied cost of additional rework caused by choosing an easy or limited solution now instead of using a better approach that would take longer, is a common reason for decreasing velocity in agile projects. As technical debt accumulates, it becomes harder and more time-consuming to add new features or fix bugs, naturally slowing down the team. Investigating and addressing technical debt, often through refactoring or dedicated, hardening, sprints, is crucial to maintain a sustainable pace. For instance, if quick and dirty code was written to meet an urgent deadline, that debt will slow down future development. Proactively managing technical debt ensures long-term team productivity. Question 14. A key project stakeholder has high power and high interest in the project. According to stakeholder engagement strategies, how should this stakeholder typically be managed? A. Keep informed. B. Keep satisfied. C. Manage closely. D. Monitor with minimal effort. Answer: C. Manage closely. For stakeholders with both high power and high interest, the recommended engagement strategy is to manage closely. This means actively involving them in decision-making, providing frequent and detailed communication, and regularly seeking their input and feedback to ensure their continued support and mitigate potential opposition. These individuals can significantly influence project success or failure due to their authority and active involvement. For example, a project sponsor or a key functional manager would fall into this category, requiring dedicated attention. Always prioritize close management for those who can truly make or break your project. Question 15. A project manager is leading a large, complex project that requires the involvement of multiple external vendors. Which process is essential for ensuring that the necessary goods, services, or results are acquired from outside the project team? A. Resource management. B. Scope management. C. Procurement management. D. Cost management. Answer: C. Procurement management. Procurement management involves the processes necessary to purchase or acquire products, services, or results needed from outside the project team. This includes everything from planning purchases and acquisitions, conducting procurements by selecting sellers, administering contracts, and finally closing procurements. It's crucial for projects that rely on external resources, ensuring legal compliance and timely delivery of contracted items. For instance, hiring a construction company for a new building or purchasing specialized software from a third-party vendor falls under procurement management. Always ensure your procurement processes are robust when engaging external parties. Question 16. What is the primary purpose of a sprint review in an agile, Scrum, project? A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. B. To discuss what went well and what could be improved during the sprint. C. To commit to the work for the upcoming sprint. D. To report on individual team member performance. Answer: A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. The sprint review is a key event at the end of each sprint where the Scrum team and stakeholders collaborate on what was done in the sprint. The development team demonstrates the completed, done, increment, and discussions revolve around the project's progress, market conditions, and potential adjustments to the product backlog. This event provides a valuable opportunity for inspection and adaptation of the product based on feedback received. For example, demonstrating new software features to end users allows for immediate feedback to refine future development. Remember, the sprint review is about showcasing value and adapting the product roadmap. Question 17. A project manager determines that the project's current schedule performance is falling behind. The Schedule Performance Index, SPI, is 0.85. What does this SPI value indicate? A. The project is ahead of schedule. B. The project is within schedule. C. The project is behind schedule. D. The project is under budget. Answer: C. The project is behind schedule. A Schedule Performance Index, SPI, of less than 1.0 indicates that the project is behind schedule. An SPI is calculated by dividing the earned value, EV, by the planned value, PV. If EV is less than PV, it means less work has been accomplished than planned for the given time, hence the project is behind schedule. For instance, an SPI of 0.85 means that for every dollar of work planned, only 85 cents worth of work has actually been completed. Always remember that an SPI below 1 signifies schedule inefficiency. Question 18. During the planning process, the project manager needs to estimate the duration of activities and has limited historical data. The team members have varying levels of expertise. Which estimation technique would be most appropriate to obtain a realistic and reliable estimate by involving multiple experts? A. Analogous estimation. B. Parametric estimation. C. 3-point, PERT estimation. D. Bottom-up estimation. Answer: C. 3-point, PERT estimation. 3-point, PERT estimation is a technique that reduces the uncertainty in activity duration estimates by considering 3 different estimates: optimistic, O, pessimistic, P, and most likely, M. By averaging these estimates, often using a triangular or beta distribution, e.g., O plus 4 M plus P/6, it provides a more realistic and weighted average, especially useful when historical data is scarce or unreliable, and expert judgment is key. This approach accounts for potential best case, worst case, and typical scenarios. For example, estimating software development, experts might provide optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely times for a coding task. This method helps mitigate risks associated with single-point estimates. Question 19. A project manager is creating a project management plan. Which component of this plan defines the processes for preparing, distributing, storing, retrieving, and the ultimate disposition of project information? A. Stakeholder engagement plan. B. Resource management plan. C. Communications management plan. D. Quality management plan. Answer: C. Communications management plan. The Communications Management Plan is a subsidiary plan of the Project Management Plan that details how project communications will be planned, structured, implemented, monitored, and controlled. It defines who needs what information, when they need it, how it will be delivered, and by whom, ensuring that all stakeholders receive relevant information in a timely and effective manner. This plan addresses the methods, frequency, and formats for disseminating information. For example, it would specify whether weekly progress reports are sent via email or presented in a meeting. A well-defined communications plan is crucial for keeping everyone on the same page. Question 20. Which of the following is not typically a characteristic of an agile approach to project management? A. Fixed scope, variable time and cost. B. Iterative and incremental delivery. C. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. D. Responding to change over following a plan. Answer: A. Fixed scope, variable time and cost. A key characteristic of agile approaches is that they typically embrace variable scope, but with fixed time, sprints, and fixed cost, team size for a sprint. This allows for flexibility in what is delivered based on evolving requirements and feedback, while maintaining predictability in terms of delivery cadence and investment. Predictive or waterfall methodologies are typically characterized by fixed scope with variable time and cost. Agile prioritizes adapting to change and delivering value in small increments rather than adhering strictly to a rigid upfront scope. Question 21. A project manager is dealing with a team member who is consistently underperforming and missing deadlines. What is the most appropriate initial action for the project manager to take? A. Remove the team member from the project. B. Document the issues and escalate to HR. C. Provide coaching and identify potential training needs or impediments. D. Reassign the team member's tasks to others. Answer: C. Provide coaching and identify potential training needs or impediments. When a team member underperforms, the project manager's most appropriate initial action is to provide coaching and actively identify the root cause, which could include a lack of necessary skills, unclear expectations, or external impediments. A project manager's role involves developing the team and resolving issues, not just punishing them. Offering support, clarification, and targeted training helps the team member improve and benefits the project by retaining valuable resources. For example, a discussion might reveal the team member is struggling with a new software tool and needs training. Always start with support and problem solving to empower your team members. Question 22. Which organizational structure gives the project manager the most authority and control over project resources? A. Functional. B. Matrix, weak. C. Matrix, strong. D. Projectized. Answer: D. Projectized. In a projectized organizational structure, teams are organized specifically around projects, and project managers have full authority over project resources, including dedicated staff. This structure ensures that team members report directly to the project manager, promoting strong project focus, clear lines of authority, and efficient decision-making. Unlike functional or matrix structures where project managers share authority or resources with functional managers, a projectized environment grants the project manager virtually complete control. For instance, a construction company often operates in a projectized manner, with each building project having its own dedicated team and project manager. This setup maximizes the project manager's influence and accountability. Question 23. A project manager is working on a new product development project. The most important objective is to deliver the product as quickly as possible to gain first-mover advantage, even if it means sacrificing some non-critical features. Which project management approach would be most suitable? A. Predictive, waterfall. B. Critical chain method. C. Agile. D. Program management. Answer: C. Agile. Agile methodologies are highly suitable for projects where speed to market, flexibility, and early delivery of value are critical, even if it means prioritizing features or accepting a less than perfect initial release. Agile's iterative and incremental nature allows for rapid development of a minimum viable product, MVP, and continuous delivery of valuable increments, enabling the project to quickly adapt to market demands and gain first-mover advantage. For example, a software startup aiming to capture market share quickly would benefit from an agile approach to release core features early and iterate based on user feedback. Embrace agile when speed and adaptability are your competitive edge. Question 24. What is the primary purpose of a lessons learned register in project management? A. To document project risks and their mitigation plans. B. To record all project changes and their impacts. C. To capture knowledge gained throughout the project for future use. D. To track team member performance and skill development. Answer: C. To capture knowledge gained throughout the project for future use. The Lessons Learned Register is a valuable repository for recording knowledge gained during a project, including successes, failures, and challenges encountered, along with their root causes and recommended improvements. Its primary purpose is to capture this organizational process asset so that future projects can benefit from past experiences, fostering continuous improvement. For example, if a specific communication strategy proved ineffective, documenting it in the register helps avoid repeating the mistake in the next project. Always ensure lessons learned are documented and shared to build a more knowledgeable and efficient project management culture. Question 25. The project manager needs to ensure that the project deliverables meet the agreed-upon standards and requirements. Which performance domain or process group is primarily concerned with establishing and maintaining these standards? A. Project Work Performance Domain. B. Delivery Performance Domain. C. Measurement Performance Domain. D. Quality Management. Answer: D. Quality Management. Quality management is the performance domain and knowledge area primarily concerned with ensuring that the project and its deliverables meet the requirements and stakeholder expectations. It involves planning for quality, managing quality throughout the project by applying quality standards and processes, and controlling quality by monitoring and recording results to determine if quality standards are being met. This ensures the output is fit for purpose and achieves its intended value. For example, establishing inspection criteria for manufactured parts or conducting thorough testing of software are part of quality management. Always prioritize quality to ensure your project's outputs are valuable and reliable.